I have a sun lamp in my arsenal of antidepressants. It was buried among the many things that I've accumulated over the years, and I found it only when rummaging through the piles in an effort to prepare the second half of my floor for its facelift. Powerful. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to take all this stuff and I'm going to move it over there. It's chaos. At least the sun's out, though. I'm really happy to see that the sun's out. I wasn't in the forecast and I could really use the sunlight, so. Whew. I have been moving for 5 months from the various locations where my belongings have been scattered, and for the love of God, I am still not done. This on top of the litany of other energy-sucking tasks, obligations, and mind trickery that life likes to affront me with on a near-constant basis. So, naturally, I made things more complicated for myself by adding to my workload until the inevitable happened. Hello, burnout, my old friend. I've worked myself too hard again. Yeah. So I set up a cozy little space for us to work in and got started on a special project that I had in mind for this space. I want to get some of the stuff put away so I can bring more stuff upstairs. I have stuff all over the house and I need to bring it all up so that we can have the house back. One of those cubes needs to be reattached. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to start filling that up. I'd like to get as much done up here today as I can so that tomorrow I can just kind of get back to making stuff. I just want to do something artsy tomorrow. That's my plan, so we'll see. Here is a nice moody look at the studio so far. I don't think I have to say that I'm in love with the space, but I am in love with the space. It's coming together beautifully, and I'm very excited to make stuff up here. I just have to organize it all. I have a special project in mind for the 2 very large crawl space openings on either side of my room. Just a few months back, I started working on a series I call unCAGE. You can find out more about it by visiting the link in the description, but in summation, I'm exploring my experiences and feelings through this new art style I've fallen in love with. These 2 pieces I'm hoping to create will represent the 2 halves of the cage, as it were. Challenge and apprehension on one side, growth and endurance on the other. But since this is a studio space and lighting is an integral part of that space, I wanted to see if I could make something that carried a little extra flair in special lighting. So that's where this experiment comes in. I have only 2 very special, very specifically cut and perfectly sized pieces of acrylic I salvaged from the bin to use for this. So I want to try to work out the issues before committing to the bigger pieces. Safe to say, I think it's been a little while since I used these. I'll share more on that specific project in due time, but I'm trying to schedule out my projects in a way that makes the most sense. Getting the room finished, the boxes unpacked, the trim put up, built-ins repaired, and insulating the space for the winter are fairly important items that will contribute greatly to my sanity and productivity in this space. So I kind of want to get that done first. Anyway, I realized there's a lot of prep work that I skipped when starting this project, but again, I was just ready to make something, and the acrylics were calling my name. This was a lot different to my usual process for making these pieces. For one thing, making marks is completely different. I played around with using different brushes, using my fingers, diluting the acrylic paint with water, and eventually I made a mess of the whole thing. I didn't have an image in mind while creating this piece. I was hoping to find something in the marks to inspire me, but instead just ended up using a reference from Pinterest that I liked and that I felt would work well with the color scheme and my attempts at making parts of the image glow. For the glowing bits, you may have noticed the strange consistency of the paint in some areas. That's actually clear gesso mixed with glow pigment powder. I like the effect that this gives, especially when applied over similar color areas so that the effect is almost hidden in plain light. All in all, I like how the piece turned out. There are some areas I would definitely change, and had I planned this piece out a little better, I think it could have been much more successful. But as it is, I think it adds to the space nicely. I started playing a little sketchbook game I made up that I call Pinterest Roulette. Basically, I open the app, let the feed refresh, and use whatever pictures I find to create a collage on the spot. I try to limit how much time I can scroll between images and allow myself a reroll just 2 times. The idea is not to get too attached to any idea, but instead pick something and get my hand moving. These last few months have really taught me the value of slowing down and appreciating the moment, taking time where it's needed to catch my breath and plan for the next move. More than that, I really want to start doing more of the things that I enjoy, like reading, playing video games, and spending time with family and friends. I just added a new author to my read list, a series of mysteries. They haven't been delivered yet, but if you're interested, I'll let you know what I think of them. And I've sectioned off an entire space in the studio that will be my reading nook and another area for gaming. Making videos to share with all of you is something that I genuinely enjoy, and I have no intention of giving that up until I'm made to. But for now, just know that I'm taking things a little slower while I get myself prepared for the next chapter, even though it's already being written.